Best names in the world begin with the letter C. We've got Carlo, we've got CURMA, we've got Carl. We are here today with Carlo, and he is in charge of keeping the world alive with sea turtles, which are apparently different from other turtles. And I found that out. Carlo, we have spent the day doing trash pickup, and we've seen huge turtles that you've rescued. What exactly do you do? I mean, what is CURMA? What does CURMA stand for?
Yeah. So CURMA, this is an acronym that stands for Coastal Underwater Resource Management Actions.
Okay.
So how this basically started was, we live here right on the beach in San Juan, and one day we saw a nest emerge just in front of the house. And we did some research because it was the first time for us to see the turtles, to find out that poaching was really rampant at that time. So at that time you could obtain not just turtle eggs, but even the meat. They were butchering sea turtles. So from that we decided to do something about it basically. And that's how CURMA came about, to protect the sea turtles which nest here in La Union.
Okay. When you said you saw them nest, what happened? You actually saw a big mother turtle?
Yeah, what we actually first saw was hatchlings coming out of the ground. So if you see, it's quite amazing, like 100 small hatchlings coming out of the sand and like racing toward the ocean.
Okay.
So that's the first one that we saw here.
Okay.
And that kind of sparked everything. It inspired us to do something and protect the turtles.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
2009 was the first time we saw the turtles.
Okay, and then you started doing this. We've seen you have a space here, you have one there, you have connections with different hotels and so on. I know that Luminox just did something where you had 4 months in a row of cleanup. Do they all get to see, like we saw the release of the turtles, does everybody get to see that?
Yeah, it actually started quite early because sea turtles, they have like a turtle season, which is from September to February. And now it's only the beginning of hatching season. So it was only the group today that was actually able to see the turtles.
Okay.
But moving forward, we have a lot of nests. So if others, are available, they can also come and experience releasing sea turtle hatchlings to the ocean.
One of the things that we saw, can you explain, you had this big, huge turtle. Can you explain where that came from?
Yeah, so right now we have this turtle under rehab. It's an endangered green sea turtle. So this was actually rescued from a fish pond in Pangasinan. So someone had illegally sold it and someone had illegally bought it. They are endangered species, so they cannot be traded. And the person who bought it put them in a freshwater pond. So they're sea turtles in freshwater, and they fed it the wrong diet. So basically they got really sick. Luckily, someone was able to see them and report it to us, so we were able to rescue them. And they're under rehab. The first two we were able to release already.
Okay.
This one maybe a couple more weeks, and then she can go back to the ocean.
Okay.
So they've been with us for quite a while. Like they've been out of the water for 17 weeks now.
Okay.
But they're getting stronger. They have the proper diet. They get vitamins and in the proper water. So they're on their way to health and hopefully back to the ocean soon.
Okay. And the end result is you want to release them back into the wild.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what we saw, you were explaining this a while ago. I thought the pattern on the shell was gorgeous, and it explains why it's such a product that used to be allowed. But you were explaining that they were all individual. They're like handprints or thumbprints. Can you explain that?
Yes. So sea turtles, the pattern itself is unique. Just like a fingerprint. There are certain parts like the scutes. Certain species have a certain number of scutes, but the pattern itself of the shell, even the side of their faces, is unique. So it can actually be used to identify the sea turtles.
Okay. What's a scute?
A scute, if you see the shell, it looks like the scale.
Okay.
It's actually called the scute.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like this is a green turtle.
Okay.
It has 4, 5, 4. So 4 in the side and then 5 in the middle.
Okay.
So that's.
Okay. And how old would you say that turtle was?
This turtle is actually quite young. So
that's young. It's this big.
Yeah. So right now the shell of this one measures around 40 centimeters, and the adult is 120. So it's quite.
That's a baby still.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, but that was this big.
Yeah.
And then the ones we released this morning, we released 3 this morning, right? And you said that they were the runts of the litter. They were the stragglers. And you said that was because we could tell because the shape of the shell wasn't perfect, right? What is the importance of releasing them here? I mean, because I know some people just let them go, but you're saying that there's a particular reason why you're releasing where they arrived?
The stragglers, basically, they're the ones who came out late.
Okay.
So generally, they'll come out as a batch. So the main batch from that nest already emerged and was released 3 days ago.
Okay.
So these ones are the ones who kind of slept in. You know, they came out of the nest late.
Okay.
But sea turtles, like in the Philippines, they're all listed as endangered, except one. The hawksbill is listed as critically endangered, so one step from extinction. And basically, every single turtle counts. So these guys, they may come out late, but we just make sure they're okay, and then we release them into the ocean.
So with that batch of eggs, that was how many eggs were there?
This particular nest was 109 eggs, and 106 were already released. So possibly there's 3 more to come, maybe later on in the day.
Okay. And then when you say that they come out, they basically just come out of the shell, which you pack into the ground, into the sand, which is how it normally is, right?
Yeah. So sea turtles, you know, they live in the ocean, but the ocean is too cold for their eggs to survive. So the mother turtle has to come up to the beach, lay her eggs 2 feet underneath the ground, where the temperature is actually quite constant day or night.
Okay.
And so that's where they incubate for 2 months. And then after that time, they find their way to the surface and make their way to the ocean.
Okay. And you said that they go back to where they were born, and you said that there was a 10-meter step that they had to do so that they could remember where to come back. Can you explain that, please?
Yeah. So sea turtles, they have like basically a built-in GPS.
Okay.
And their first walk is how they remember the coordinates of the beach they were born in. So their first swim out is basically like programming their home button.
Okay.
So we can't release them into the water. They need to make that walk, which is normally from their nest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why you wanted no one near them, because
Yes.
they needed to have clear. Okay.
So they needed that walk to remember their birthplace. And then 15, 20 years from now, when they need to lay their eggs, they will come back to this very same beach.
Okay. So you might see them in 15 or 20 years.
Yes, and that's also why it's really important to maintain the nesting beaches, because those turtles will never nest anywhere else in the world. You know, their mother was also born right here in this beach stretch. And for life, anytime they need to lay their eggs, they will come back here, same area.
Okay. So what is it you want people to know about what you're doing and about turtles?
Yeah, so sea turtles and other wildlife, you know, it's about protecting them, and the way to protect them is to protect their habitat, which also makes up 70% of our habitat. You know, the ocean, 70% of the oxygen we breathe comes from there. So what we want people to know is, you know, we're all connected. You know, what I do affects you, what you do affects the planet. So basically, you know, we have to protect the environment, which is also our environment. And, you know, we all have this one planet, we all live here. And, you know, basically we need to help each other to protect this.
Okay. And you said that you got support early on, and you in turn are supporting others. Like, you want to turn this area into what do you call it, a training area?
Yes.
To teach people how to do this?
Yes, so we're trying to create a turtle training center. So we can, the idea is to replicate what we're doing here in La Union in other parts of the country. You know, we have such a vast coastline, and the Philippines geographically is blessed to be a turtle haven. So we have like 322 identified nesting sites, and most of those don't have any conservation efforts yet. So our plan is to help establish this in different parts of the country. So they can come here, we can train them, then we can help them establish in their locality. So the main idea is each locality will run their own programs.
Okay. And okay, you said there are how many nesting sites in the Philippines?
There are 322 identified nesting sites spread out in the country.
Do you consider La Union one nesting site, or are there several?
Yes, so La Union, it's considered as one nesting area,
Okay, so-
one stretch, one beach
so
stretch.
this one entire area is just one nesting area, and
Yes.
there are 300 plus.
of this
of
in the
these.
country, yeah.
Okay, and
You know,
they're not protected.
Only a handful are. Only a handful have programs to protect sea turtles in their area.
Okay.
So the idea is to spread whatever we're doing here. We were able to create like a model that works.
Okay.
So we just like to replicate this nationwide.
Okay. What's the key thing you did in the model that you say works? What is it that made you change the mind of people from poaching to protecting?
So mainly it's a community effort, and education was a very big part of it, and also identifying why there was poaching in the beginning. So our initial challenges was poaching, and this was mainly driven by financial reasons. You know, along the coastline of the Philippines, it's mostly poor fisher folk So it was part of their livelihood. And what we did was to create and help them with livelihood programs. So now 98% of our sea turtle patrollers were former poachers. And this is how we were able to create the sustainable way of protecting the sea turtles.
Okay, and you think that's a replicable system for the rest of the country?
Yes, so
Well,
what
you're
we
gonna
have
try.
here, it's like a public-private partnership, which is the best way for it to work. So in CURMA, actually, everybody that's in CURMA are purely volunteers. You know, everyone is like day jobs on the side. And it is definitely replicatable. You know, our conditions here is the same all throughout the Philippines. So this is something that we want to do and want to share and help people start the same program.
Okay. Well, awesome job. It was a wonderful thing to see. Today we watched kids release turtles into the wild. We saw them learn about turtles. We saw them see them being born, basically.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing you're doing. Thank you very, very much, man.
Thank you very much. You know, we have this thing, we call it the turtle mentality,
Yeah.
helping each other. And that's what we want to spread.
Okay, well, let's do that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.